Today, we're exploring one of the most exciting features in Motion Tools Pro 2025, the ability to create your own custom tools right inside After Effects. It's a development environment built directly into After Effects with professional features like syntax highlighting, auto completion, and search capabilities. But here's what makes it special. This isn't just a basic code editor. We've added powerful workflow features that solve real problems you face every day. You can create expression controls instantly without leaving the editor. Apply expressions to multiple properties simultaneously with sync mode. Save and switch between different animation setups with property collections. And use smart import features that automatically find similar properties. While it's not a full IDE like Visual Studio Code, it's specifically designed to supercharge your expression and script workflow right where you need it most. Let's jump right in. To access the code editor, open the Settings panel by clicking the gear icon in any tool panel. You can also right-click on the panel background and select Settings. On the left side, you'll see all your tools, both the pre-built ones and your custom creations. Notice the four tabs at the top. The third tab shows only your custom tools, which is where your creations will live. We've separated expressions and scripts because they work completely differently. To create a new script, click Add Script. For expressions, click Add Expression. Both open the same powerful code editor with three tabs: Editor, Styling, and Info. Here's a quick tip. Right-click anywhere on the panel background and select Expressions Editor for instant access when you want to create or edit expressions. We added a small but useful update to the library. If you are working with dozens of custom expressions or scripts, you can quickly delete them. Use the intuitive Shift or Control keys to select a range of items or selectively choose just a few. At the bottom, a new Delete button appears that will remove all selected items at once. Before we start coding, let's understand what we're working with. Scripts are like one-time actions. You click a button, something happens, and it's done. They are perfect for automating repetitive tasks, such as duplicating layers 10 times or creating text layers from a file. This is how all our built-in scripts and widgets work. They are all based on scripts. Expressions, on the other hand, are completely different. They run continuously, calculating values on every single frame. Want a bouncing animation or a color that changes based on the time of day? That's an expression. Some of our scripts, like elastic or rolling shape, rely on expressions. The script part adds expressions to specific properties once, and then the expression part runs on every frame. For example, in this currently open project, all of the animation occurs entirely procedurally without keyframes, using only expressions. We will explore it a bit later. The workflow is simple. For scripts, click New Script, write your extend script code, name it, and save. You can run it from the library or add it to your panel layout. For expressions, click New Expression, write your code, select the property you want to apply it to, and click Apply. Now that we understand the fundamentals, let's explore the editor itself. When you open it, you'll immediately notice the syntax highlighting. Different code elements are displayed in different colors, making everything much easier to read. It's just like in After Effects, but in a convenient separate window that lets you view the code better. Here's where it gets powerful. Press Ctrl-D to select multiple instances of the same text. This multi-cursor editing is incredibly useful when you need to rename variables throughout your code. The editor includes auto-completion for After Effects functions, and search and replace with Ctrl-F. The search panel supports case sensitivity and regular expressions for advanced pattern matching. Notice the button in the header? That button activates Expand Mode, which provides a full-screen coding experience when you need to focus. The header also includes copy and paste shortcuts for clipboard operations. Let's create something simple but practical. A custom wiggle effect with user controls. Click New Expression and give it a descriptive name like Wiggle Controller. Now, here's the special workflow. Select a position property in After Effects and click Import. This does two things. It grabs any existing expression and adds the property to your sync list. We'll explore sync functionality in detail shortly. Let's start with a basic wiggle expression. In the code editor, type wiggle 1, 100. Press apply to see the effect immediately. The layer starts wiggling with a frequency of 1 wiggle per second and an amplitude of 100 pixels. Now imagine you want to adjust these values. You'd have to edit the code, change the numbers, and apply again. This becomes tedious when experimenting with different settings. This is where expression controls become incredibly powerful. Let's look at how this workflow works natively. Let's open the built-in expressions area for a moment. These controls are located in the Effects panel in the Expression Controls section. Usually we add them to the layer, then using the Pick Whip tool we create a connection between the slider and expressions. The path to the slider will be placed depending on where you put the cursor in the text editor. So instead of number values, we will use links to the sliders. But to add them faster, you can use our new functionality. There are two ways to work with these controls. The standard method, click Add Control, choose a type like slider or color, and a modal opens where you can name it and set default values. For rapid prototyping, hold Alt while clicking any control type. This creates it instantly with default settings. Perfect when you're experimenting. Let's create our wiggle controls. Click the sliders drop-down, choose Slider Control, and name it Frequency. Create another one called Amplitude. Now we'll improve our expression code by creating variables that connect to our controls. Press Enter a few times to move the wiggle expression down. First, type frec equals, and then copy-paste the path to your frequency slider. Press Enter and do the same for amplitude. Type amp equals and copy-paste the path to your amplitude slider. Finally, write the variables in the wiggle function. Wiggle frec, amp. Such code is much easier to read, understand, and maintain. A fast note. After each line, write semicolon to separate the lines. It's not necessary, but it's a good practice, and will help you to avoid unexpected errors. This gives users complete control over the wiggle speed and intensity right from the Effect Controls panel without touching the code again. The Pick Whip in our editor is another helpful feature. Place the cursor in the editor where you need, select any property in After Effects, click the chain icon, and the property path automatically appears at your cursor position. This is perfect for manually pasting selected properties when you need precise control over what gets referenced. Once your expression is ready, you have several ways to test it. The Live Update feature applies changes as you type, giving instant feedback. Set the update frequency to 1 to 3 seconds for the best balance between responsiveness and performance. Sync mode is where the magic happens. Enable it by clicking the toggle. It turns green when active. This links your expression to multiple properties simultaneously. For example, if you duplicate layers dozens of times, or like here, we have a few more characters that need to include the same expression to all controls. Now it becomes tedious to copy and paste the same expression to all properties after each change. Press P to show just the position properties, select all of them, and click the Import button. Before moving on, let's look at the error display below the editor. It shows expression errors with line numbers and detailed messages. This makes debugging much easier. You can quickly identify and fix issues. For now, it happens because the links to the sliders are relative to the layer. Other layers don't have sliders, so to fix it, we need to copy and paste the sliders to each layer. Perfect. You will notice that the counter becomes bigger. Click the sync counter number to open the Properties panel. This gives you a complete overview of all synced properties with their layer and composition context. Active properties appear in white, disabled ones in gray. You can toggle individual properties, perform bulk operations, or remove properties with the X button. When applying expressions, use the Apply button for one-time application. Another powerful benefit of sync mode is that we save all layers we import, so now we don't need to select them every time. We can move to another composition, and the editor will send all updates wherever they are in the project. A few more details. The drop-down next to it automatically selects the properties by type: position, scale, rotation, or opacity. This saves you from manually selecting properties every time. And here we can stop and say, okay, we can edit multiple properties at once, but what if I have the same amount of properties in another composition and another set of expressions that are working? For example, on these layers with special effects. Switching between them becomes a pain. For these cases, we have prepared a special feature: property collections. Let's see how it works. We need to save the current collection of properties with expressions. Click the Save icon in the Properties panel header and give your setup a descriptive name. The collection appears in the drop-down menu, ready for instant reuse. To avoid possible errors and mistakes, let's turn off the live mode. Now, back to the current collection, remove all properties. Now we can select any other composition and import properties from it. I'll try it from a similar composition, but instead of the wiggle expression, there are special math expressions used to make wavy-like animation. The steps are the same. Select properties and click Import with Sync mode enabled. Now we can save this collection with a new name. And one more cool detail. Let's create a new collection. Be sure that we save the collection, switch to the current one, and clean them. We have a special expression on the corner pin effect for deforming text. They are located deep in the nested structure, and the easiest way to find them is to use the search input in the timeline panel. But for such cases, we have a special import mode. Select one property, hold Alt, and click Import. It automatically finds all similar properties in the composition and adds them to the collection. The real magic happens when switching between collections. Click the Collections drop-down to instantly switch between different setups. Each switch loads both the properties and the expression simultaneously. This is perfect for A/B testing different animation approaches or quickly switching between different setups. The workflow with scripts in our case is much simpler. We don't need connection to multiple properties, sync mode, and other things, so the scripts editor doesn't include them. Also, scripts can be much longer, so it's better to use more professional tools for that. For example, you can use linking to a specific file on the computer to execute them. You now have the tools to create custom expressions and scripts in Motion Tools Pro. Start simple, build complexity gradually, and use the Expression Control Creator to make your work interactive. Save your creations as collections for instant reuse across projects. Most importantly, experiment with different approaches. That's how you'll discover the real power of custom tools. Happy coding, and we'll see you in the next lesson.